personal
Yeah.
information, right? Okay, all right. So
Sure.
to whoever may be watching, I'm Noah. This is my friend Christina, who for a couple years has been a doing this amazing, just completely started spontaneously. This project started during the pandemic, actually, right?
Yeah.
Working
Yep.
with, what was that woman's name who you were working with, and it was how we met. Um,
Nita, my friend
yeah,
Nita.
yeah,
Mhm.
Nita Raymond, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so going all the way back to the pandemic of starting a just spontaneous like grocery delivery service. And so I don't know if that's when it began for you, Christina, but that's when I became aware of your existence. And then since then has grown into a just spontaneous, continual project of delivering food and things like socks and sanitary products to people that need them, and is now actually incorporated as a bona fide 501c3 with a website and everything. And
Yep.
if you could see the inside of Christina's house, it is like it's the living room is it looks like the stock room for just this
It's
ongoing
organized.
operation.
Yeah, organized chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's in my view, emphasis on the organized part. So what brings us here today is, this is inspirational and want to look at how bringing technical skills to bear on just easing out, smoothing out the wrinkles in the process and allowing Christina and her team to just focus on the parts that where their energy can make the most difference for people in the community. Um, and then getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but thinking like if there's a set of tech tools that can be developed to be able to, control C, control V, like you want to spin up an organization in your neighborhood, right? Okay, here's a toolbox that, built out of practice but that's next step. So first step is let's make this work once. Um, so Christina, you mentioned a few specific pain points, and that's always a good place to start is where is there actually a problem as opposed to just making one up, right? And I think what you mentioned is you're doing finances by hand. Um,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so I'm curious
Yep.
to get some insight into what that looks like. And then you mentioned that you can imagine some sort of like inventory tracking system for
Yep.
tracking intake, right? So maybe just those would be two good things to start with. And
Okay.
then,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you want to round out, for the sake of who else ever might be listening, asynchronously, if you want to round out, part of your story or just, introduce yourself. It's great to hear it in your own
Um,
voice. Mm, mm,
well, no, I really, you kind of actually, I know you said it was kind of like the step ahead, but you kind of touched upon something that has been brought up with me recently, right? So my nonprofit has been in existence for about 3 years. We just had our third anniversary, but the
wow.
kids and I have done, yeah, we've done this, on our own for a long time prior to that. Like our holiday outreach this is our 11th year to do it.
Wow. Oh.
Um, and I think, in terms of growth, people always ask me, well, how do you see Under My Umbrella in the future? How do you see the growth of it,
Hmm.
right? For me, I don't see growth in us having more donations, more
Hmm.
programs, more.
Hmm.
I am Growth to me looks like somebody taking exactly what I've done, and like you're saying, taking a toolbox, giving
Hmm.
them the tools necessary to do it for their community,
Hmm. I love
because
that.
every community is going to have different needs, right? So what's working
Hmm.
for me up in Allen and Collin County may not work for a community, somewhere else, DeSoto,
Hmm.
Lancaster, wherever.
Yeah.
But the idea is if we can figure out how to do this kind of grassroots, boots on the ground, kind of mutual aid thing, the way the
Hmm.
system that Under My Umbrella has set up here,
Hmm.
and give people steps to recreate it within their own community. Now we're talking, that to me is growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that.
I would love to be able to put together something like that so that if somebody in a different community says, hey, Christina, I want to do the same thing for my community, we can give them the tools to do that successfully because I have already done it and it seems to
Hmm.
be working.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so that, I mean, that to me is growth ultimately, right? Because Under My Umbrella, the way we are at this particular point in time is we're saturated.
Hmm.
And I think also the bigger you get, you kind of lose
Yeah.
some of that community feel
Mm-hmm.
that makes it so important. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Um, as far as tech needs, we do everything in house. So this is zero overhead, right? You have no paid
Mm-hmm.
staff. You have no storage fees, no office fees, no rental
Mm-hmm.
fees, nothing, because
Mm-hmm.
everything
Mm-hmm.
is out of my home. So as far as our tech, our website, our newsletters, taxes, all
Mm-hmm.
of that we do in house. My 15-year-old created our website
Mm-hmm.
on Squarespace. So if you
Mm-hmm.
look at it,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of very basic. We're not
Yeah.
able to take donations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
he's 15.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, I would love to be able to um, track as far as finances, because I am doing that by hand now.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are under 50,000, we're not required to file
Mm-hmm.
a 990. So it's just an e-postcard. But
Mm-hmm.
in trying to be competitive for grants,
Mm-hmm.
there are things that I do need to show, like an operating budget and things like that. So when that comes up and I'm applying for a grant, I'm doing that by hand,
Mm-hmm.
which is very long.
Yeah.
Tracking receipts, I mean,
Yeah.
and with 5 programs in my nonprofit, you have to kind of tease out,
Yeah.
depending on what program I'm trying to write the grant for, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Maybe
that
to
becomes
back
difficult.
up a little bit, some helpful background here
Yeah.
would be maybe just share, because I know, and I'm taking this for granted, but when you said 5 programs, that just reminded me like there's a lot going on here. So maybe just kind of a thumbnail sketch of like what is under my umbrella, what are the activities that comprise, what do you guys do? What does under my umbrella do?
I like to think it's just community outreach. It's just literally, as a micro nonprofit, you have to know where you're most effective, right? So we have major food banks, we have major big resources that
Mm-hmm.
catch most of the people that are in need, but
Mm-hmm.
you still have people that fall through the cracks. So I think where we are most effective is when we recognize that we can fill small, urgent needs very quickly and be responsive.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our programs are small, but responsive and agile. So
Mm-hmm.
our neighborhood outreach, we feed about 50 to 100 of our unsheltered every week between Dallas and Collin County.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's
when you
one
say
program.
feed, just to color that in, so my understanding is essentially like sack lunches, and based on the relationships that you've
We
built, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, we do hot meals, we do hygiene, we do clothing, we do if you need a sleeping bag, if you need, so the
Hmm.
needs are very, very specific. And because I'm going directly into like under bridges or in
Hmm.
encampments. So these are people that are either not mobile
Hmm.
or don't have a car, or for
Hmm.
whatever reason they're unable to get to a pantry
Yeah.
or get to
Hmm.
a resource. So we're
Yeah.
going to them
Yeah.
and kind of
Okay.
meeting them where they are.
And so,
Um,
yeah, so when you say feeding people, you're physically going there, and you have, like
yes.
when my daughter and I came up to your place, and we packed, we packed packs, and you had a very systematic way of, okay, one granola bar, it was amazing the system that you had in your living room, right? So, but that's what we're talking about, feeding people, is those prepared meals, prepared in one way or another. I'm curious about hot meals, but well, I don't know if we
Yeah,
need
so
to go down
hot
that rabbit
meals,
hole. Yeah. Mm.
but so the other idea is also to kind of get our immediate community involved, right? If this is a
Mm-hmm.
true community, a grassroots effort. So my sponsors for hot meals are going to be local small businesses,
Mm-hmm.
because we want to also bring them in and also give them the highlight
Mm-hmm.
that they deserve for feeding the community. So I pick up rice from Plano, I pick up
Mm-hmm.
desserts from a local baker, I pick up tea from another small business, and
Mm-hmm.
then all these things together combined make a full and complete hot meal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's also the idea of everybody doing what they can and kind of pitching in.
Yeah.
So that I do every week is drive around and pick up these donations from these small businesses
Okay.
on the day that I serve, and then that is the hot meal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
And then they also get the shelf stable, like what you and your daughter packed,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
if somebody's not there the next day or the next
Yeah.
day, at
Yeah.
least they have something
Mm-hmm.
to fill their stomachs. So Yeah, I've got that going on. Our rainy day fund is literally to fill in the gaps. So say you find yourself in a situation where you need emergency groceries
Hmm.
and you apply for assistance from something like Love Lasagna or something like that. Well, there's a 30-day, 60-day, even Meals on Wheels, sometimes more than that,
Mm.
wait
Mm.
period
Yeah.
to even process your
Wow.
paperwork and get through that red tape, right? And you can't go 30 days without food. So that's where we come in. And if you just let me know, of course, I'm going to ask you questions, you know, and vet you at
Hmm.
least
Hmm.
minimally. But I can get a Walmart delivery to you same day,
Hmm.
right? And so just something to hold you over, or if you have an emergency car repair, right? So a lot
Hmm.
of times what we see happen up here is your car breaks down, you can't get to work, you can't pay
Hmm.
for your car. Now you've lost your job and you can't work, so you're going to lose your apartment and get
Yeah.
evicted. Now you're living in
Downward
your
spiral.
car,
Hmm.
downward spiral. So we're trying to stop it
Hmm.
upstream.
Yeah.
So if you have a small car repair, and I can rally enough community members to help with the repair costs, we can get you back on the road in a couple of days
Hmm.
at, at the most, right?
Yeah.
So that's that program to try to basically just bridge the gaps.
Mm.
So a lot of what we do is there, and also mentorship for our youth. Like we do our free basketball camps and
Hmm.
things like that. I think it's important for the young people to get involved because they've got great ideas.
Hmm. Mm.
We've got to teach them how to put those words into action and do it.
Hmm.
So that's kind of, the basics. And like I said, for the little details as far as our finances and, visibility, social media, things like that. I mean, that is lacking. But that's a time and resource thing that I
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I have neither. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for all that background. I knew some of it, but it's always good to hear, and I really like the way you put it of a very tactical application of assistance at the right moments can make so much difference by just
100%. Yeah.
preempting all those downstream, the whole, the cliche about it's expensive to be poor, right? And it could be that can spiral out of control.
It's very expensive to be poor because if you think about it, like I'm lucky, right? If my car breaks down and I get a quote, I can take another car and I can shop around, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But if you don't have the time, you might have to put it on your credit card and just pay whoever that can fix it right away.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is very expensive to
Yeah.
be poor.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Okay.
you know,
So I think what we've got really going for us here is you obviously have established a system. So none of this is just in theory. Um, I think we could start tactically applying, just surgically identifying places where you're spending your time where it's not best spent, basically, you and your team, right? And the things that can be automated, automate and get the right data at your fingertips to, you know, allow you the most time in the community and where it's best spent, right? And
right.
God knows, maybe even some time to like watch a TV show at some point in your life, right? All right.
Living the dream, living the
Yeah,
dream.
yeah.
Like, I
And
think,
then
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, and then what you express, like to be able to see others, and I know just around the community, I know there are people who look at you and admire you and and maybe think like, oh, I could never do that, right? How can I come help? And maybe they do, and that's all wonderful, right? But to be able to actually empower those who are mutual aid curious to be able to take the leap, say, okay, I've got these, I have a set of tools and maybe even like over time, this is really getting ahead of ourselves, but like a community of people who are trained in the use of those tools and you'd enter a community of practice, right? So you're not just going it alone. You were the pioneer who went out there alone and God bless you. And let's blaze away and um, clear
Well,
the way for
that's
others.
the idea, right?
Mm.
Because the way it is right now, if I stop, my nonprofit stops.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
If I get sick or something happens, my
Yeah.
nonprofit
Yep.
stops.
Yeah.
So
Not
we're
sustainable.
looking at longevity. You're looking at
Hmm.
somebody in a different community that's not mine,
Hmm.
replicating it and doing the
Hmm.
same thing for their community. And
Hmm.
that's where we're going to get the most
Yeah.
benefit, right? Because
Yeah.
right now, if it stops with me, it stops with
Hmm.
me.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't want that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, right now, and I didn't send it to you, but I will. I do keep a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
It's old school. It's a
Okay.
spreadsheet.
Okay. Yeah. No,
It's
no, okay.
Excel.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and it is publicly accessible. So that
Mm-hmm.
for me is transparency. So when you're donating, whether it's 100 sleeping bags or one, that to me is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tracking it as far as every distribution that I make. But again, on an Excel spreadsheet. And I'm sure there's much better ways
Mm-hmm.
to inventory
Yeah.
um, items
Yeah.
and donations than what I'm currently doing, which is
Mm-hmm.
one Excel sheet for distribution and one for in-kind
Mm-hmm.
donations,
Yep.
just,
Yeah.
to show people
Mm-hmm.
what's going in and what's coming out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's those spreadsheets, you manage them,
Yeah,
and then
so
you
it's
make them
online.
available to those who need to know. They're mm,
Yeah, it's public.
yeah.
So sometimes I'll put a link on it when I
Mm-hmm.
post if I
Mm-hmm.
remember. But I do track everything that I give out every
Mm-hmm.
time. Now the smaller distributions, sometimes I don't, because I'm
Mm.
feeding like 2 people, 5 people,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But the larger ones, so I think most micro nonprofits, if you ask them, they'll say whatever numbers that they're giving you, we can easily 1.5 to 2 times that, because
Mm.
we're doing small things and it's not like a big distribution. So we're not really tracking those small
Yeah.
day to day, one
Yeah.
person, 2 people kind
Mm-hmm.
of things. Um, but I think ideally, you would want somebody with a micro nonprofit to be competitive for grants, like some of the larger
Mm-hmm.
nonprofits are, because they have professional grant writers, they have
Mm-hmm.
accountants, they have
Mm-hmm.
a whole office, right? Like what I
Mm-hmm.
have at work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and somebody like me, I can't compete with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Between
I don't
full-time.
have the
Yeah.
numbers. I don't have the jargon because I'm not a grant writer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have the resources
Mm.
to apply and look for and put together an operating budget, a project budget, um, things like that.
Mm.
So that
Yeah.
makes it kind of tricky,
Yeah.
kind of tricky. Yeah.
To say the
And a
least.
lot of the, yeah, well, a lot of the larger grants here locally, like Math Foundation and things like that, they require you to have 100,000 or more operating budget to even
Okay.
apply.
Yeah. Hmm.
If I had that, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
applying for the
Exactly. Yeah.
grant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So why would I need 5,000 if
Yeah.
I had 100? So um, there's some nuances to that kind of red
Mm.
tape as well,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I appreciate that your vision is very clear. Like we're not trying to be a major food bank, right? As you said, a micro nonprofit. I like that term. And
Yeah,
to be like more tactical and agile and be part of a whole ecosystem of care, right? That
right.
includes these bigger institutions, or these pillar institutions are important, right? But they're not, there's all different players on a football team that each play their role, right? Something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think if you're small and doing things on a scale that I am, like I was saying before, you're most effective when you can give people exactly what they want. So to give you a really quick
Hmm.
example, like
Yeah.
if somebody gives me a large scale donation of a hygiene care package and it's 100 bags of all the same things, different things,
Hmm.
toothbrushes, toothpaste, all in one bag,
Hmm.
that's phenomenal. I love
Hmm.
that. Right.
Yeah.
But if I take it to somebody and this individual has 15 toothbrushes already
Hmm.
and no toothpaste, why am I giving him
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
important resource, right?
Hmm.
So for me, what I usually do in those situations is I break it down. So you have a bucket of toothbrushes, a bucket of toothpaste, a bucket.
Hmm.
That way you pick and choose what it is that you need and we waste less,
Mm.
number one.
Hmm. Yeah.
And number two, you give people the dignity of choice.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want a toothbrush and
Yeah.
that's fine,
Yeah.
right? So it's more like kind of patient informed
Hmm.
outreach at that
Yeah.
point.
Love that.
I mean, we call it patient informed care, but this is
Yeah. Yeah.
outreach. So I don't know however you want to coin that, right?
You're making
So it's
dignity
just
important. It's.
Correct. And just
Yeah.
giving people the option, because if you're so far removed from society, we need to try to kind of bring you back in,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I can't bring you back in if you feel like you don't have any
Just
dignity
being treated
left.
as a line item in a
Like,
case
yeah, here,
spreadsheet,
take
right? Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Right, right. So it's the job of the micro nonprofits and the ones doing street outreach, which is what
Mm-hmm.
this called is
Yeah.
called, because you are the first contact. So it's the human aspect that is super important. Now,
Mm-hmm.
touching on that, I would love a quick way, like even on an iPad or something,
Mm-hmm.
where I can somehow track um, clients or people served.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, because the way I do that now is just meals served, because I know
Mm-hmm.
if I gave out 50 meals, obviously that's 50 people.
Yeah.
Um, but if some of the grants or organizations, if they're wanting to know, which I don't know why it's important, but demographics
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, I have
Yeah.
no way to give that to you unless you just ask me and I give you a ballpark from what I
Yeah.
remember from my little
Mm-hmm.
brain.
Yeah.
That's all I can give you.
So we're talking about like a CRM of people being served.
I mean, yeah,
Whatever,
it's not,
as much
yeah,
or little information as you have about them. Maybe some people you only know a first name. Um,
right. Or something they can maybe choose to fill out themselves if they're
yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
don't like to force
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
on
yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
So, um, and then that might be at least a more accurate representation than just what I remember
Mm-hmm.
from a discrete.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
feel as if it's like 75% men and like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you're gonna have to rely on my best
Yeah.
guess in those
Yeah.
instances.
Um, so I wanna cast a vision and then maybe go back and get a little bit more into the detail and so the vision it sounds like what we're dreaming up here is a micro nonprofit toolkit, micro
Yeah,
nonprofit like portal, right? And so the key elements would be public website and with some slots to plug in specific information, a certain amount of customizability, um, tracking of inventory, tracking of a what's the right word to use, customer, friend,
client,
client.
friends,
Okay, yeah,
friends,
sure,
friend,
friend,
friend.
yeah,
I
all
like
right.
friend.
People being served, right?
Yeah,
Right. Okay, so a CRM of people being served and with the ability to record like dates and types of service. um,
right. Or like
yeah.
special requests. So like right
Yeah.
now, luckily I have kind of a photographic memory, so this
Hmm.
works for me.
Yeah.
Um, but if I meet somebody like last week and he comes up to me, Mr. Ernest, and like, hey,
Mm.
I'm sleeping on the sidewalk, I
Yeah.
would love a sleeping blanket or
Yeah.
sleeping bag.
Hmm.
Then I
Yeah.
remember that, and then next week I bring it. But if there was a way to like kind of have
Hmm.
people go ahead and put in requests like
Hmm.
you need a you need some socks and
Mm.
this
Yeah.
person needs pants in this size,
Yep. Yeah.
um, then that's something that we could post publicly, and somebody wants to
Yeah.
fill that very very specific need, they can do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Somebody goes, hey, I have a size 38
Yeah,
jeans
sure.
or
Yeah. I
whatever.
think yeah. Just sitting in my
Yeah, and
closet, not
then
doing anything. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and then that way we're also kind of upcycling resources
Yeah.
fairly efficiently, right? Than you giving
So yeah.
whatever.
So if those needs were submitted and then those could be surfaced on a public website, and you could just, scan that and like,
Correct.
oh, I happen to have I have
Yeah,
a
and
seven
you're
iron I'm not
giving
using.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
giving people exactly what they need. And same with
Hmm.
our, some of the people that are newly housed. Maybe somebody needs a toaster oven or somebody
Hmm.
needs whatever.
Hmm.
And that way
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you're matching a donor directly to somebody benefiting from it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. I think it's fantastic, and it's one thing to be able to write a check or to be able to say serve at a food bank, but if somebody is wanting something a little bit more personal,
Hmm.
like a direct connection, that's
Mm.
something a micro nonprofit is able to
Hmm.
do.
Yeah. Yep. So public website and then back end. So the different users are, so there's the public users who could access the public website and just, hey, I saw a Facebook post, we can check out what is this organization. Um, Public website. There's people who are, let's say, staff of the micro nonprofit. So in this case, you and your family, and a few other core volunteers, right? People who would
Correct.
have, login only access to the backend portal to manage things like list of friends and inventory and financial data and so forth, right? And then there would be the clients potentially have an interface where they could manage their own personal profile, update their own information, and input specific needs that they have, right?
Yep.
And then there's maybe the fourth class of user would be like donors and supporters. And so these would
Yeah.
be, well,
Volunteers, donors, supporters,
yeah,
yeah.
and they would be, what would they be doing? They would be, we're not even talking about the like activities yet. That's another whole other can of worms, right? But we'll tie that in at some point. But for someone who is donating, would they need to like get a tax statement? What do they need to do? When they make a donation, it's not just self-report. Like they make it and then you enter it. It's like, oh,
Correct.
okay, Whole Foods donated. I don't know if they ever they donated $1,000 or
That'd be
60
great.
cases.
That'd
Yeah,
be great.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, let's throw that out there. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, so generally, like if they're donating through a major platform like North Texas Giving Day or
Mm-hmm.
through a corporate matching program like
Mm-hmm.
Benevity or Blackbaud, they
Mm-hmm.
are automatically sent by that platform a tax receipt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to do that.
Okay.
Now, if you are not using a corporate matching platform or
When you say these corporate
something
matching
like that,
platforms, do you mean that you're already linked up with some of these? So through North Texas Giving Day, like you're a participant in North Texas Giving Day, and so those, people can opt to have their donation go to you. Is that what you mean?
correct. So like you sign up for these platforms. So like if I and I try to sign up for as many as possible that I know of. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the other thing that could be in this toolkit is to give people, because if you don't know that you're eligible to sign up for these corporate matching platforms, you wouldn't do that and then they can't
Mm-hmm.
find you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you work for TI, if you work for Bank of America, if you work for any of these major corporations that
Mm.
all use Benevity, you can search me and I'm listed there.
Okay.
So if you volunteer with me, they'll donate
Mm.
an hour's worth directly to my nonprofit. Or
Hmm.
if you donate $50 via their corporate matching platform,
Mm.
that
Mm-hmm.
50 becomes $100
Oh
when it
wow.
gets to me because the company like TI or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
or Cisco, they're
Yeah.
matching,
Okay.
right? But in those platforms, those employees and those individuals are automatically issued a receipt,
Yes.
tax receipt. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just donating to me via Zelle or PayPal,
Mm-hmm.
then usually if people want a tax receipt, you will email me and I will physically
Type a letter.
handwrite
Mm-hmm.
and make that for you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how that
Mm-hmm.
goes as far as
Yeah.
donations.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot to potentially dig into there with the Benevity and so forth. So when people go that route, they just give you the money. Does Benevity
No,
or
no,
someone require some? Oh,
they donate through their company. So Benevity would be like if you're donating, however they do it, like they have some kind of employee portal, I assume, where they sign
mm-hmm.
into,
Yeah.
and then they donate, and then the company matches it, and
Yeah.
and then EFTs it to me.
Okay. So yeah, that was the missing link there. So at some point,
Yeah.
someone gives money to you. Okay.
Yes.
And then do you have to provide any receipts for that EFT? Or at
I
that
do not
point,
because the platform already does that.
yeah, okay.
Or,
Okay, got it. Got it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that comes from when that money is eventually EFT'd to you, it's not coming from Acme Corporation, that's coming from one of those aggregators like Benevity. Or,
Correct.
okay,
Yeah, so you're
okay.
providing them your nonprofit bank account or
Yeah,
routing number,
yep,
or if you want a physical check, they
yeah,
will cut a physical check.
yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So I guess the upshot there is these institutionalized giving aggregators, we could say, that's what they do is they button up that whole process. So sounds like we're covered there, but where we're not covered is just the individual one-off donors who want to sell you $50 or whatever.
correct.
Right? Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
And to be able to, ideally, like let them. You don't want to. It's an artful process. You don't want to take the personal aspect out of it, but you also don't want to spend all day every day just on your phone, receiving and dealing with one-off donations, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't get many of those.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
But
Okay.
I would like
Yeah.
more of those,
Yeah.
because, uh, it's, I think for my nonprofit, I would
Mm,
say 90% or higher is individual
mm.
donors. It's not going to be corporate matching. It's not
Yeah.
going to be,
Okay.
I
Okay.
have, I have, I have one Benevity match.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
um, so this is definitely very grassroots.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look at the amount of donors, even on North Texas Giving Day, I had
Hmm.
65 different donors.
Yeah.
So we're talking, um, a lot of people, smaller amounts, we're
Hmm.
talking $5 here, $20 here, versus, some of the larger nonprofits, you may get a hit from a donor and it's 10,000,
Hmm.
one donor, right?
Yeah.
That's not the case
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And so our work then is to, as seamlessly as possible, just keep those documented and organized and at our
yeah,
fingertips in a way that we could generate, or maybe even some self-service generation of like, you need a statement for your taxes. Like you can log in and get it yourself if you want to.
yeah, that would be great. I mean, I
Yeah.
considered some financial software,
Hmm.
um, but I don't want to spend any money on it,
Mm.
because I'd rather spend it feeding
Hmm.
people.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So I just do it by hand.
Yeah. Okay. Meaning you don't have QuickBooks or anything like that.
No, I thought about it. It was really
Yeah.
appealing to me, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to pay. So,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
right now we're not paying.
Yeah.
The only thing that under my umbrella pays for consistently is to keep our website.
Yeah.
And the
It's
only
from
reason I'm
Squarespace.
doing
It's like
that,
20 bucks a month or something.
Squarespace,
Hmm.
the only reason I do that is because a lot of the grants require you to have a website, a physical
Hmm.
website, not social
Yeah.
media, a website.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, so I don't believe we get a lot of traffic through our website, but
Yeah.
that's what we got to keep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And maybe I think it'll be helpful. I'm gonna just pull up the website. I'm gonna share my screen and pull up the website
sure.
so that
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
gets captured on the recording. And then we'll see where, okay, so
Avi's
it's,
Avi's first website.
yeah, it's a great first effort.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did it when he did it when he was, that was 3 years ago. So he was 12.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. All right, here it is in its glory. I like whoever picked the color scheme. I like it. So Squarespace website.
Avi,
It is a 501c3 community service organization. So just take an inventory quickly. What's here? Okay, so hero image area. Okay, mission statement, newsletter, subscribe to newsletter. What happens if someone subscribes to the newsletter?
then I get their email and it's in a spreadsheet. And once a month, I will send you highlights, from what we've done, the last month.
Okay.
Or if we have any call to actions, like I just sent one out for, the pantry due to a SNAP ending,
Mm-hmm.
or anything pertinent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, okay, media mentions. Okay, and these are okay. Last one's from September 4th. So someone's doing good work keeping this up to date.
My
Okay, and
kiddo.
this is, yeah, awesome. Good job, Avi. This is ostensibly just using the plug and play tools on the Squarespace side. And
Yeah.
then I want to see, let's see. Okay, so programs, donate. What happens for donate? So this is
Thing,
okay.
because
So
I
there's no
can't
online
link
donation.
anything.
Yeah,
I mean, it just gives you my Zelle and PayPal, because,
yeah,
I don't have the functionality to like link it
yeah,
to, the
hmm,
any of the financial account. Yeah.
yeah. Yep. Okay.
I think I had to pay
Um,
extra if I want to do that.
I'll pay extra for the Squarespace.
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
able to
Okay.
donate, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's about us. Okay, and just some content. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Oh, those are old. We need to
Yeah.
update those.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. These guys they're like driving now. Yeah.
Gotta update
All
those
right.
pictures.
Yeah. They're adorable though. Okay. And newsletter. Okay. And newsletter, do you use like MailChimp or anything like that, or it's just you just
Do I?
download a sheet of emails and just send a mass email?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, okay. So that's inventory of what's here. I'm going to stop the recording for a bit because I want to show you some things that's going to include some kind of private information that I don't necessarily want to share with everyone who sees this. But what I want to share is just to keep ideas going here, is a platform I built for a group that's forming a cooperative grocery store that does a lot of the same stuff. And I think it'll make sense once you see it here. So let
Okay.
me stop. Oh, no, I want to keep sharing, but I want to stop recording. Let's see. Are you good for a few more minutes?
Yeah. You're
Okay,
good.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay, share again here.
you're good.